Be with our inner child, play with the inner child, have fun with the inner child.
There are no limitations except the limitations that you have imposed on yourself. कोई तो तारीफ कर दे, कोई तो देख ले. There is power to empower. My name is Geet Batra. I am a Heal Your Life facilitator. I'm a ex-access consciousness certified facilitator. I'm a life coach and an author, and also come from about 20 years of corporate experience. And today I'm going to take you through something which you may know, but you may not have focused or considered to change your life. I consider myself as a gardener who nurture lives around me, and hence I could relate with all the teachers here. My endeavor in life is to helping people around to bloom to their highest potential. Isn't that exactly what some of you are doing? You are working with those little lives and you are transforming them into someone that is closest to the best of their potential. We are all work in progress, but the beginning, the first school is, of course, home with the parents, and some of you are parents as well. Today is all about you, the remarkable human beings behind the desk. So that is why I named it Hearts Behind the Desk. And you are the hearts behind the blackboard. Endless lesson plans, course curriculum, assessments, and daily routines, and the discipline, and that bell that sometimes the teacher awaits, and sometimes the kids are waiting. When would the bell ring? I deeply honor and celebrate each one of you because behind your role as a teacher, there's a heart, there's a story. There are dreams and there are struggles, but most importantly, a beautiful human waiting to be seen and appreciated. I know teaching can sometimes feel like the most invisible job in the world, a thankless job. Even if your work begins at 7 a.m. and you're free by 3, you may have the shortest duration among all professions, but probably you are living a life, you are doing the work equivalent to 12 hours, and you have to finish it in that tightly squeezed time. So, teaching is very emotionally exhaustive. And why is it exhaustive? Because all those kids who are coming into your classroom, they have come from their home where the environment you have sometimes absolutely no idea what is happening. And sometimes parents themselves do not have an idea what those kids are going through. All that emotional baggage, when it comes in your class, we may think that we don't know about it. We can go on about doing our work, but actually it doesn't work that way. We are walking, talking receivers of emotions. Everything is energy, and you get impacted by that energy, whether you want it or not. How many times you have experienced this that you are, there is absolutely no reason why you are feeling so low. Absolutely no reason. And you go walk into the room and you feel heaviness in the room. You feel exhausted. Or there are some people who carry so much of emotional baggage that when you meet them, you feel exhaustion. And this is all very real. Maybe you have felt moments of loneliness despite a classroom full of smiling faces and questioned your own value in those quiet hours, grading papers or preparing lessons. Today's purpose is to shift that deeply held feeling of invisibility into powerful, heartfelt acknowledgement and appreciation. Because when you love and acknowledge yourself genuinely, your classroom transforms into a space of joy, inspiration, and vibrant learning, not because of new techniques, but because your own heart is lit up. Some days when you go into the classroom, you say, oh my God, this is the best thing that I have chosen in my life. This is the career I was made for. And some of you came across the most beautiful teachers in your life, and they shaped your life, and you looked up to them and you said, that I want to be like that. I'm from city of Indore, and some 30 years back, there was a coaching center called as Khare Coaching Institute. It was for PMT and PET. And I saw Khare sir on the stage with 500 students in the hall. And I was like, that. Someday I want to be that. There is power to empower. Most of you chose because you had great teachers. They set an example. You wanted to follow their footsteps. So this, your classroom, when you transform those lives and when the class ends, and after certain years, these kids come back to you, and then they say, man, you remember that happened? It has changed my life. Or when you see your students who you have taught for several years as a class teacher or as a subject teacher, when they come and when they excel in your life, गर्व से सीना चौगुना हो जाता है. It's like, this is what I am dealing with, all that stress, anxiety, worry, and ordeal. During our session, we will gently move from being unseen to fully acknowledged, from exhausted to inspired, from wondering why you are still teaching to feeling deeply reconnected to your profound purpose and the motivation. So I thank you again for being here. You're already more than enough. And today, let's rediscover together how beautifully, valuable, and deeply impactful you truly are. Are you ready to open your hearts and light up your classrooms? Let's quickly check together, right? If any of this sounds familiar to you, right? Have you ever felt emotionally exhausted at the end of your teaching day? And have you ever silently wished someone would simply notice and acknowledge your efforts? कोई तो तारीफ कर दे, कोई तो देख ले. Let me ask you another question. How many of you have skipped meals or rest, thinking I'll do it later? I have too much schoolwork right now. You want to give them so much that your glass is empty. You are running on just fumes. There is no gasoline, there is no petrol, diesel, nothing. And you can't stop. This is not a teacher's training, but there is a concept which I am going to build. Even if you are not a teacher, you would recognize that it is happening with you. Have you ever felt frustrated when you can't make a difference you envisioned? एक बच्चा है, whatever you do, nothing is working. So I thank you deeply for your courage in answering these questions. And I see you. And I hear you. And I honor the authenticity and द्रुत गति से जो आप लोगों ने yes दिया, with a lightning speed that you have shown here, your engagement. These experiences are powerful signposts guiding us towards deeper healing and growth. And I promise you that you are in the right place. And your journey from unseen and unheard to fully acknowledged and empowered starts here. Let me give you some surprising things. How many of you think that circumstances are making your experiences? Your circumstances are as such that you are not able to fully experience your power. You're not at your optimum best because of your circumstances. How many of you think that? Yeah. So you can just type yes, yes, yes. Sometimes yes. And what if I tell you the experience of life that you have today is because of what happened in the first 7 years of your life? You want to know how much? 99%. What happened in the first 7 years of your life have decided how your life's experience would be. How many of you often tell your kids, "Arey, ye to easy hai. This is very easy." How many of you tell kids often? And if you are telling them ye easy hai, that also means sometimes you would be consciously, unconsciously, verbally, non-verbally telling them that ye difficult hai. Because easy cannot exist without difficult. That means easy and difficult are the polarity of judgment. Not wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. I promise you. None of you are wrong. But that easy and difficult ka jo gap hai, that is what have created a student. When as in the first 7 years, they are told that this is easy, this is difficult, their life runs from that. For example, if they come up with something, a line sketch, a line drawing, and you say, हाँ अच्छा है but बेटा ये तो बहुत easy है. Think about it. You may have unconsciously told someone, इसमें क्या है? ये तो बहुत easy है. And that kid learned this is how to negate somebody's achievement, and that kid went around to other kids and said, ये तो बहुत easy है, इसमें क्या है? Rather than saying, good job done, let's do another one. And if you tell, oh, this is difficult, or if they heard some adult speaking about something else, oh, this is difficult, they decided this is difficult. So I tell you, मैं अपने चाचा की शादी में 1984 में स्टेज पे नाचा था. मुझे नाचना नहीं आता. बाद में मैंने अपनी वीडियो देख ली तो बहुत शर्म आई. And I decided dance is extremely difficult. Now Pappu can't dance, Sala. I cannot dance. Whatever step I try to do, मेरे को वो गिनती के 2-2.5 स्टेप आते हैं. उसी में मैं पूरा 1 घंटा पास कर देता हूँ. मुझे नहीं आता. Because in my mind, it is attuned that dance is difficult. If I believe that dance is difficult, I would not try. Because there are people around me, they use the word easy and difficult and they have been criticizing. And you feel ashamed. And when you feel ashamed, when you are criticized, you won't like to do it ever. Because of fear of failure. How many of you have not taken up a new subject, a new class, a new school, a new job, a new relationship, because you thought it is going to be difficult? Yes, no, maybe. Let's take a different example. Teaching से थोड़ी देर बाहर आ जाते हैं. Anybody below 30, 40, 40, I think, yeah, below 30. No, not below 30. 30 to 40. 30 years to 40. Say yes, 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 if there are any. My question here, so that you can relate. एक मूवी आई थी वो जिसमें एक गाना था, चले छैया छैया छैया. Have you heard that song? उसमें एक बहुत प्यारी लाइन थी. And today I was thinking what I'm going to talk to you. And I wanted to tell you about this. And my intention went to that word. जिनके सर हो इश्क की छांव, पांव के नीचे जन्नत होगी, मेरी शाम रात मेरी कायनात, वो यार मेरा सैया सैया. It means if you have love in your life, जन्नत पाली, जिनके सर हो इश्क की छांव, जिसके ऊपर इश्क, लव इन देयर लाइफ, उसकी लाइफ जन्नत है. नाउ वी आर यूज्ड टू पोलैरिटी. अगर जन्नत नहीं है, if heaven is not there in your life, that means it's hell. This is the effect of polarity on us in our life. And that kid who was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 15, or even till 18, when they heard this song, unconsciously it was there. I love in my life. And if I don't have, ah, I must be a failure. I must be a loser. And then you kept on looking for it. Now, that was a movie. That was something they had to portray as perfect, and you were looking for that perfection, and when you did not get it, you got disappointed, and you said, probably I don't deserve love because I'm not good enough. And once you realize this, I am not good enough, it was a repetitive process, a copy pasted into various areas of your life. It got copy pasted into your career, copy pasted into relationship, copy pasted into your skills, into your knowledge, into your intelligence, wherever. 99% of us have issue with I'm not good enough. If you have ego, I'm not good enough. If you're arrogant, I'm not good enough. If you have insecurity, I'm not good enough. If you feel you're a failure, loser, you cannot do it, I am not good enough. But this is not the problem. The problem goes even worse. Whenever you have such kind of background from your childhood, whenever you have such kind of beliefs from your childhood, it just gets accentuated as you grow. It keeps on increasing moment by moment, granule by granule. It only diminishes the moment you recognize, oh shit, this is what I was believing. Situations don't matter. Only what you do with situations matter. But if you have a belief, I can't do it, you would make situations bigger than you and you would become victim of circumstances. Now, why I'm talking about this is when you go into the classroom, even if you have a role to play, you may be talking to someone and saying easy, difficult. You may be talking to someone and saying, you require my approval. Teacher will give you 5 stars. They are hungry for approval, and sometimes they unconsciously learn to seek approval from anybody who is in authority. And that authority begins with you, and then at home with the parents, or it may begin at home also. And then they would start seeking acceptance and approval from their friendship. Everybody, every one of us have those first 7 years forming our life. If you don't have money, if you are not able to get prosperous, there is something from your childhood which is still there and it needs to be found. And hence, we are talking about inner child. We all have inner child, and there is not one inner child. You have an inner child 1 day old, 2 day old, 3 day old, 4 day old, 1 year, 5 months old, 10 year, 3 months old. Every single, those are the literal fragments. They are shaping your life, and you are not even aware. And I am inviting you to work on that inner child. Every one of us have a little child within our heart. And your inner child holds all your earliest experiences, emotions, joys, and hurts. And I'm not talking about the abuse, the post trauma stress disorder, or losing someone, a loved one, early in the childhood. All that will also impact, and probably much more than what happened in your first 7 years. This inner child shaped your identity, personality, perspective long before you became a teacher. Science and psychology tell us clearly. By the age of 7, most of our core identity and life's perception have been set. Those of you, when you did something easy and you were not praised and you were told, oh, ye to easy hai, then whatever job you did, you told them with how much difficulty I did it. पता है मैं भागी मेरे जूते फट गए थे फिर भी मैं रेस में भागी थर्ड आई में. You have to tell with how much difficulty you do it. And most people, when they go out and perform at their jobs, their profession, they come back home and they say, आज का दिन तो बहुत tough था. And the problem is, the moment you say आज का दिन बहुत tough था, मेरी life tough है, मेरे साथ ये हो रहा है, circumstance ये हो रहे हैं, I'm the victim, you give away your power of choice, which is actually your biggest power. And you are affirming to yourself unconsciously, and you don't know what else to do. The problem is, you don't know what else to do. This is why, in countries like Finland, the Nordic nations, young children aren't pushed into rigorous academics like it happens in our country, in our academic education system. Instead, they are gently prepared for life, self-reliance, emotional intelligence, natural learning, working around in nature, playing, no screens, no books. Those foundational years shape who we become as adults. And when you meet some of these Nordic countries people, you would find them much human than we are. They wonder how we compete so much. If you have a childhood which was tough for any reason, where you were among the three kids and you were the middle one or the youngest one or the eldest one, all of you may have something from your past. And when you go out in your classroom, when you go out in that classroom, and as a hurt inner child, unconsciously, you tend to hurt others. Remember, only hurt people hurt people. Let it land. Let this land. Only hurt people hurt people. But healed people heal people. Teachers, if you are hurt, it's time to heal yourself. When you start healing yourself, people around would heal. Maybe you had challenging childhood experiences, emotional pain, neglect, harsh criticism, or trauma. Perhaps those unresolved experiences quietly follow you, shaping your classroom interactions and decisions today. It is true what they say, hurt people, and healed people, heal people. So every unresolved hurt, every unprocessed trauma or emotion, trauma or emotion, which was suppressed or even repressed. You were not allowed to express anger, don't you? Some of you say, नहीं, अच्छे बच्चे गुस्सा नहीं करते. गुस्सा करी. And because they didn't know, we are not making them wrong. The point is, they did not know at that point of time to deal with the situation any better. How many of you came across in your teaching career where you really found it difficult to deal with a situation? And what you did, you probably don't want yourself to be forgiven. You're not willing to forgive yourself for what happened. But you did what you did based on your upbringing, circumstances, conditioning, learning, knowledge, awareness, wisdom, intellect. You did what you did based on what you knew that time. You are much smarter now. Consider your first class when for the first time you were teaching, and some of you have been teaching for 20 years, 30 years, maybe, some of you. You are not the same person who walked into a classroom for the first time. How many of you have experienced unexplained headaches after stressful class? Anyone? Unexplained headaches. You often you used to have headaches. No, nobody? Yeah, Geeta got the yes. Okay. So I'm working, whatever I'm imparting to you, whatever I'm taking you through is based on the philosophy of Louise Hay, who is my teacher. If you can see her right behind me. I have been following Louise for more than 15 years now. And she says that every time something happens in your life and your body, mind is at unease and you have some emotional trigger, it goes and rests as energy somewhere in your body. The emotional and mental unease creates physical unease, which is called as dis-ease. Dis-ease. And the headaches that you have, that headache is when you invalidate yourself, when you criticize yourself. And third possibility is you have headaches when you have too much to handle and you are fearing that you cannot handle it anymore. Some of you may have migraine. Anybody who has migraine? Anyone? Okay, you don't need to tell me, but if anybody has migraine, you don't like to be driven by someone else. You want to control your life. You want your life to be in your hands, and when somebody else is controlling and driving you, you have migraine. And all of this is decided in the first 7 years of your life what disease you will have. Heart. Some people cannot experience joy. They can experience happiness, but they cannot experience joy. Joy is different than happiness. Happiness requires reason. Joy doesn't. Joy doesn't require reason. Happiness does. When some of us are unable to experience joy, or when we are joyful, we are reprimanded and told, इतना काय को इतने दांत निकाले तो तोड़ दूंगी. बड़े भाई ने बोल दिया या बड़ी बहन ने बोल दिया या क्लास में किसी और ने बोल दिया, some bully, and you lost being that joyful child, and you were afraid that is it allowed? Can I be happy? Can I laugh openly? And when you experience that, you sow the first seed of having heart problem. Can you imagine? Your heart attack or myocardial infarction or coronary thrombosis is because something happened and it squeezed all the joy out of your heart. कहते हैं ना दिल टूट गया मेरा. Those when you say मेरा दिल टूट गया and मजाक में भी बोलते हो, your body doesn't understand jokes. Some of you have blood problems, blood related issues, right? It is because your heart represents center of love and security. When there is missing love and security in your life, you would have blood issues, blood related issues, BP and all. Sometimes you have long standing emotional problems, lack of joy, hardening of heart, belief in strain and stress कि यार stress तो जिंदगी में होता ही है, then hypertension or hypotension. Point is, if in first 7 years all that is formed, अब उसका करना क्या है? And that is where I am getting at, that there is a way to work on them. Some of you may have shoulder pain. Shoulder pain happens because you have taken too much of responsibility and you are unable to shirk it off or tell people to grow up. You have been spoon feeding people and carrying their weight. किसकी को बैक प्रॉब्लम है? मिडिल बैक, अपर बैक प्रॉब्लम. गेट ऑफ माय बैक. मेरा पीछा छोड़ दो. Enough of your criticism, enough of your expectations. Lower back problem, lack of support, primarily finances. If you don't work on that and you keep on taking medicine, वो आपने बलून देखा, वो मेले वगैरह में दे यूज दैट बड़ा वाला बलून, एक तरफ से दबाते हैं तो दूसरी तरफ से निकल जाता है. When you get these surgeries and medical things, you press, अब वो हार्ट में तो ठीक कर दिया, अब वो कहीं और से निकलेगा, बिकॉज यहाँ पे हो गया सॉर्ट. But then it will come out from somewhere else. And you are causing this unease to create dis-ease in your life. Heartburn, acidity, peptic ulcers, stomach problems, ulcers of any kind. Fear, fear, fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. झूठ है वो. You spook yourself so much. And it is not your fear because other people told you like that. Some of you, for the first time, when you saw a dog's puppy, when you were a child, for the first time, and the puppy barked or was playing with you, and you were uncomfortable. You were not used to being mollycoddled by a pup, and you were startled. But when you saw the dog for a long time playing around, and nobody told you, "Ooh, doggy, bitey," if nobody told you, then you probably would have fallen in love with that dog, wanted it as your puppet or puppy or your doll. So there is nothing called as you love dogs or hate dogs. Your first formative 7 years decides everything. Some of you thought that there would be a prince charming on white horse, shining armor knight. And some of you wanted to bring up a kid. You love dolls, love taking care, and this is what you do. You want someone, you want a man, mustache वाला होना चाहिए, but बच्चा होना चाहिए so that you can take care. अब वहां पे मिल गया independent. अब चल रही है tussle. That child and that little girl who wanted a doll. And it is not working out. And some of you saw your father as a perfect hero. And some of you wanted tall, dark, and handsome. Instead of seeing what exactly work in your life, what do you actually require, not what actually is ideal. Just tell me, all that idealism that we have bought, is it because you decided this is ideal, or it is from your formative 7 years? One small pebble becomes the mountain in your life. Point is, क्या अब हाथ पे हाथ रख के बैठना है, or can we change it? Conditions like asthma, stifled love, unable to breathe or shout out to the world. And sometimes when there is toxic environment at home, kids are unable to speak and say, "Stop it." How many of you have come across kids 3-4 years, ideally 2 years, 3 years, जिनका कान बहुत दर्द होता था और नानी करती थी कानी कानी? How many of you know that? और कान में तेल डाल दिया and all that. You know why? Because they don't understand why no. They have heard no more than yes. And this no is troubling them. Check any kid, any kid who's told more no, they would have ear problems aggressively. Of course, by somebody from authority. But here's the beauty, people around may judge, but the universe itself holds no judgment, none at all. Only people judge. Most frequently, we have learned to criticize ourselves. इससे पहले कि कोई और criticize करे, खुद कर दो. If you see a boy and a girl courting each other, when they come together, and let's say girl is insecure, and she says, मेरे तो number अच्छे नहीं आते हैं. And they start talking about it, and she is telling everything wrong about her. And she's testing कि ये भी बाकियों की तरह मेरे को रिजेक्ट तो नहीं कर देगा, ये भी कहीं भाग तो नहीं जाएगा, कहीं इसको पता लग गया, इससे पहले कि इसको पता लग जाए मैं बोल दूंगी, मेरे को गुस्सा बहुत आता है, मैं तो मार वार भी देती हूँ, rather than him experiencing and learning to deal with. The universe doesn't judge. For universe, if you were not worthy, you won't have exist. I promise you. एक ठंडा बोल्ट आता और गेम ओवर. But the universe wants you here. So what if for a moment you stop judging yourself? The moment you stop judging yourself, it doesn't exist in your life. It will change. You will stop judging someone else too. If you are a critic and if you criticize yourself, you also would be criticizing others. You would be constantly measuring them, evaluating them. Imagine the relief and the ease and the gentle calmness you would experience. This is the essence of true healing. If you are a healed person, you don't need to criticize anyone. That nagging, that bickering is not required. Instead, tell the other person, what do you want? अपना रूम साफ कर दो is a straightforward conversation. कितना गंदा कर दिया और ये ब्ला 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 ब्ला. एंड मॉम से सुना है हमने, डैड से सुना होगा, लापरवाह हो तुम एंड ऑल दैट. एंड द किड एक्चुअली heard that somewhere. And the kid said, oh, this is my parents are telling me this must be true. I know of someone जिसके भाई ने कभी बचपन में उसे बोला था कि एक दिन भी तेरी शादी नहीं चलेगी, तेरा पति तेरे को शादी के अगले दिन ही घर छोड़ के चला जाएगा. And that girl feared that, and that is exactly what happened to her. This is all unconscious. This is the true essence of healing. If you have complete self-awareness, self-acceptance, then you would be having profound, unconditional self-love. So let's pause and quickly check in. I'm going to ask you some questions and please type yes. Do you recognize moments when your reactions seem more like a child's emotional response rather than your adult self? Thank you. And later you wonder, ये क्या हुआ था मेरे को? What was that? Why did I do that? सब गड़बड़ हो गया, मतलब अचानक से फट पड़े, रो पड़े. It could be any kind of emotion. Anger, fear, hate, jealousy, blame, shame, regret, guilt. कुछ भी हो सकता है. In microsecond it happened. And you said, I want to do something about it. But you have no control. These were like unconscious triggers. And these triggers built for several years, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. We may have had amazing childhood, but triggers still would be there. Nobody is perfect. You show me one person who is perfect. I'm not going to criticize or judge, but my question is there isn't something called as perfection. Nobody is perfect, and nobody is named a nobody so that they can be perfect. Second question, do you find certain classroom situation trigger emotional patterns from your childhood? Are you aware? Certain classroom situation remind you of something or you do something. It's an emotional pattern from your childhood. And you do the same thing at your home or you used to do it when you were a child. Have you noticed some patterns, emotional or physical issue that worsens under stress? आई नो ऑफ समवन जिसके नर्वस सिस्टम में सीवियर इशू था. जैसे ही स्ट्रेस होता था उसकी आर्म दर्द होने लगती पूरी बॉडी एंड शी क्रिएटेड अ वेरी रेयर डिजीज जरा सा स्ट्रेस एंड body ache and she would cry and doctors can't do anything except putting her to sleep, putting her unconscious. And would you like to be less judgmental towards yourself? Less judgmental. Would you like to? And do you wish for genuine and everlasting emotional healing, both as a teacher and as a human being? If your heart whispered yes to any of these questions, here is what is the entire point of this. Some of you have already attended this workshop with me. Of course, you are welcome to take up the stage and share. I do something called as 21 days program for self-awareness, self-acceptance, and self-love. I'm coming up with this new program, which is specifically for teachers, but it is going to help non-teachers as well. And I have named it The Heart of a Teacher, 21 Days to Heal, Rise, and Shine. I'm pasting it here. The Heart of a Teacher, 21 Days to Heal, Rise, and Shine. Now, some of you have attended its previous form, which was pure the way it is. But I'm doing it specifically for teachers, but others, they will get the full value, what they may have got in the previous format of workshop. I can take you through a brief overview of this program. But before that, I'm going to take you through some myths. Yeah? I am fine. I just need to push through. Just hard work. और थोड़ी ताकत लगानी है. Emotional exhaustion, ये तो होता है. It's a strength. I can handle it. But actually, it's suppression. My needs don't matter. As long as my students are doing well, it's perfectly okay. This is how teaching is. Stress is part of the job. No, you believe that stress is part of the job, and that is why you have stress. Burnout is not a badge of honor. Healing is possible. It's selfish to think about myself during the school year. All madams and sirs, it is selfish to think about yourself during the school year. Being selfish is not okay. Self-love is not selfish. Self-love is self-ish. खुद से इश्क करना भी तो जरूरी है. Otherwise, you will keep on looking for someone else to fulfill that need for you. The power of self-love can act as act of service, not selfishness. If I take time for myself, I'll be left behind. I've already made peace with my past. All sorted. अब I've moved on. Most of the time, it is under the carpet dust, and you have no idea carpet में कितना dust है. I'm not emotional. I just get things done. Focus है मेरा. Being vulnerable in my role would make me weak or unprofessional. Actually, nobody really understand what it feels like to be a teacher. करके दिखाओ, and that is why Teachers Day पे बच्चों को टीचर बना देते हैं, isn't it? And this is what I suggest for you to ask yourself: how did your inner child and past shape your current teaching experiences? Have you recognized the emotional weight that you have been carrying? That's the purpose of today's call. There is importance of learning self-love because those who love themselves, they can love others. I always say one thing, दूसरों के जय से पहले खुद को जय करें. Before you acknowledge someone else, you acknowledge yourself, and that is what self-love is. And your first step towards healing burnout, disconnection, and self-judgment. So I am going to invite you for a 21 days guided journey, being seen, heard, and acknowledged, not just as a teacher, but as a human being. That's the intent. This is a 21 days life changing series. I have done about 10 batches. Yours would be 11th batch if you decide to choose and attend. I have named it The Heart of a Teacher, and I'm going to start it from 21st of June. You may scan this QR code or message me or on the group on how to join. And some of you would like to know more about my work. Let me also share my main group where you can join in and know more about my work. I share lots of videos there. I share a lot of content there, which is going to help you. Like today, I'm closing 100 days. I did 100 days of self-awareness questions. So you can join this group if you have not joined as of now. This is the group that you can join for my all other work. Let me take you through what it entails. This program is for 10,000 rupees. And many of you who have attended, you have paid this amount. I'm going to give this program only for teachers. Everybody else will pay 10,000. Only for teachers, it is 2,000 rupees. Because I want to make an impact. I did a test batch and I had about 11 teachers who attended. The feedback was amazing. It was the best batch I ever did because we specifically spoke from perspective of a teacher. So here is what you will get when you attend. There would be a daily emotional reset ritual. There is something that you would do to start off your day. You would learn how to build your boundaries and learn to say no with kindness and protect your time, energy, and well-being. There would be tools to manage your emotional triggers, and you would be able to handle difficult situations where students, parents, and colleagues are being difficult. Like Fire Auntie said, that sometimes the school politics makes you suffer more. That's the reason for your stress and not the kids. Reconnection with your passion to teach. Sometimes when things happen in your life, when all those things are happening in your life, you tend to take it on you and you lose the passion for teaching. The love that you had for this work just vanishes in thin air and you wonder, why did I choose this? A deepened sense of self-worth. Shift from feeling of not enough to knowing you are who you are and that is enough and that is what matters inside and out. You're a person and you have something to give, and there are people across the world who want to receive that from you. आपके पास कुछ देने के लिए है, उसको लेने के लिए लोगों की लाइन लगी है. There is this teacher from Patna. If you have seen his YouTube videos, Khan sir. This guy have trained 60 lakh students He has got more than 2 crore following on his YouTube channel. मेरे पास 2000 नहीं है YouTube पे. Despite doing so much of work after so many years, I mean, I'm not saying the comparison again. Sometimes we do comparison. That comparison also needs to go. But I'm praising, actually, acknowledging that that is what is possible. Can you imagine you having a 2 crore followership because you are a healed person? Not on YouTube, but in life. That celebrity status you already have. Are you able to embrace, or did you decide your deservability in the first 7 years of your life that it is not possible for me and it is too difficult? There would be a toolkit to practice every day for 45 minutes, only 45 minutes. We will start at 8:30 p.m. every day from 1st June till 21st June. I repeat, from 1st June to 21st June, 8:30 p.m. to 9:15 p.m., 45 minutes, and sometimes just 30 minutes. We will be working on one concept. I will be giving you some questions and exercises to do, and then there would be an exercise that you would do for 5 to 8 minutes every day. And then you can do that exercise repeatedly until you attend the next day's class. And you can do any of the exercises anytime, and each exercise will unfold a new you. These would be practices which are very, very revealing to you. And the sole purpose would be nurturing your mind, body, and inner child. What we are going to do in this 21 days series is reparenting that 0 to 7 year old. There is nothing wrong with your childhood, but when you are able to reparent it, you are going to reparent hundreds and thousands of children, kids, students, adults who will come across in your life. This is what my invitation is. And there would be community of like-hearted educators. You will not be alone. We will learn. You will be able to ask your questions at the beginning and at the end of the call. And at times, if you want more questions, I will be there for you beyond 45 minutes as well. If I don't have any other call clashing with it, I'm going to be there for you and I'm going to answer. So for non-teachers, it is 10,000. For teachers, it is 1,999. You can ask me for a link. You can connect with me. That's all that I wanted to tell you. Now, I would love if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, if you have any queries, if you would like to discuss something about it, do let me know. I'm here for you. Yes, Geeta.
I just wanted to share what I did in that 21 days. So I had joined this 21 days gift for teachers this last month, and had a very, very different experience, because we were made to meet our inner child every single day, different possible ways. And we had to be with our inner child, play with the inner child, have fun with the inner child. In that process, I realized that many of my negativities now, which I carry with me, that has stemmed from my childhood. Many of the things which are a need for me even now, when on that day it was asked, what did you feel want to feel at that time as a child? They were the same. So what I wanted to feel at that time is what I still want to feel, unfulfilled maybe. So that realization, those kind of realization, many a times I felt when we did the session that yes, once I am with my inner child addressing that particular need, want, then I used to feel better. That was off from my head. And the affirmations were amazing. I still do it and I'm getting better and better at it, because earlier it was difficult to form proper affirmations. I used to type it down or take a screenshot of what you used to put, which I've never told you. But I used to do that. I used to copy it quickly onto my WhatsApp chat or take a screenshot. But now when I form it, now I don't even have to write it. I form it in my mind and I say it. So thank you so much, coach.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you so much for receiving. And that's the beauty. And one amazing thing, some of my participants who have attended one of my batches, they did the second batch, third batch, fourth batch, and they kept on. Why? Because on your own, when you are left alone, you feel that you are not supported. So they did the batch. And anybody who is repeatedly doing it, I said, you don't need to pay so much. You can pay a small token amount, but attend it because it is going to impact the lives of people around you. And some of my participants, they had amazing life unfolded with their kids because they attended this workshop. Their life with their kids started changing, their relationships started changing.
And one more thing I just wanted to say, sometimes when you do it repeatedly, it becomes a habit. It's habit forming.
Yes, it is.
So we don't forget. Sometimes when how it is just like studies, we do it once
Yeah,
and we might forget it,
yeah,
the complete essence of it. You do it repeatedly and it becomes a habit. So that's also a great thing to do.
yeah. And Louise have worked and she's written so many books. Each line that she says, it's like, where did she get it from? She has, so I'm certified facilitator for a 2 day, very intense workshop. You would come out of that workshop as the joyous child that you have never ever been. Life changes. I had attended this workshop in 2016, and then I became a facilitator and I had to attend that workshop again. And in between, one of my fellow coach was conducting this workshop and I was the volunteer. And there are some of us, we actually begged from very good facilitators or the master trainers, can we please be volunteer so that we can see what magic Lewis have created, how you create that magic, and how I can create more magic. So very soon I would be coming up with a 2 day residential workshop. Rather, it would be mm, three, two, yeah, 3 nights, 3 nights, 4 days workshop in Goa, which would be full 2 days, and one day evening before you would come, and third day you would stay, and fourth morning you would leave. So it's 3 nights, 4 days program, residential, which I will be doing in Goa very, very soon. I'm just looking at the dates, possibly in month of June and July. बहुत अच्छा weather होता है, बहुत मजा आता है, perfect time है. So I'm looking at that. Some of you, if you would like to work on your body, if you have something that you are dealing with, if there is a past trauma, if there is a PTSD, if there is a problematic relationship, if there is issue with prosperity and receiving money in your life, you may begin with this 21 days workshop because this is going to unfold a lot, and the 2 day workshop is going to be much easier after you attend this 21 days. अगर आप अपने आप पे काम नहीं करेंगे तो कौन करेगा? पॉइंट ये है, योर पेरेंट्स कैन नॉट लर्न दिस एंड नाउ रीपेरेंट यू. तो जिम्मेदारी किसकी? यस, थैंक यू गीता. या, एक्शन लीड्स टू हैबिट. अवेयरनेस विदाउट एक्शन is as good as being unaware. The difference between knowledge and wisdom is putting it to use. पता सब है, करना कैसे? And I have one more program. You can get in touch with me separately for that. Some of us have not forgiven our siblings for what they did to us. But they did what they did, given the age, understanding, maturity, learning, wisdom, circumstances, their own personal traumas. It was not right, not wrong. They did what they did. And maybe they are different people now. So your relationship with them, your relationship with your kids, the conflict that your kids are having, can you imagine? That also is happening because you have the same wound. They have taken birth so that they can tell you that you have not healed your wound. How can I? You have not healed that wound. How can I? So today we experience something beautiful and profound together. The powerful connection between your inner child and your role as a teacher. And we see clearly how healing ourselves not only changes our own lives, but also profoundly impacts every student we touch, and the adults and the other teachers. Because other teachers, now, when you are a healed teacher, healed individual, can you imagine what you can do with these new teachers who are learning from you, who are looking up to you, right? It profoundly impacts everyone around. And remember, true change begins with single courageous step towards self-love and acceptance. Single courageous step. One step is enough. कोई टाइम नहीं लगेगा. Choice. एक मोमेंट की choice. Some of you got married और एक ही बार बंदे को देखा और immediately decide कि हाँ यही है. तब तो नहीं सोचा था. लंबा छोटा कितना पैसे कमाता है क्या काम कर, बस एक ही झटके में. Love at first sight kind. Your choice can change your life and it doesn't require time. There is absolutely no requirement of time. How was today's session for you? And if you would like to share something with me.
It was nice, sir. It was nice, very touching also, and very helpful
Yeah,
also.
yeah,
And looking forward to join the 21 days course.
awesome. I look forward to see you there.
Yes, sir.
Trust me, it is life changing and it is
Yeah,
lots of fun.
yeah,
And
hota.
we would even read a story which
हाँ,
will take you to your inner child,
हाँ.
and you would love to read out that story to kids in your class, and it would be life changing. That one story is enough.
तो मैं जो 7 साल के मेरे बचपन था, मैं अब उसको थोड़ा एनालाइज करूंगी कि क्या था, तो जो उससे रिलेटेड ये चल रहा है, मतलब जो मेरे को प्रॉब्लम है कुछ.
9th day, 16th day would be mind blowing. Or rather, all days would be like that when you attend the 21 days series. Yes, Payalanti.
I think the takeaway was very good for me since it's the first time that I have joined here. And I could just relate to the poem I taught in class 11. When did I lose my childhood? Where did my childhood go? It was simply saying, when did I lose it? So we need to be aware of that. And the poet concludes by saying, where did it go? So he says in the end that it goes to an infant's face. He could see his life, childhood, in that face of an infant born again. So I think we need to realize our inner childhood so that we can be more aware, live a more peaceful life. So the takeaway was very nice for me, informative. Thank you, Geet. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you joined. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, I liked the webinar. It was good. It was informative, and it really helped us to know about ourselves, like the inner child. And I really wanted something like this, like where we know, like our work is also acknowledged. Like we teachers only do work. We motivate the students, but there is no one to motivate us. Like I always used to feel that should be some motivation to us also, so that we do our work more well.
Yeah.
Like yeah, understood, no, sir. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I used to always think like somebody should motivate us also, so that we can do our best, like more. Like suppose
Yeah.
we're giving 80%, we can give 100% to the students, and it really works when
Yes.
somebody keeps praising you, like the way you're teaching, or how good is your work. It really helps us like teachers. So this really helped us. Thank you, sir. It was very
Yeah.
good, and thank you for bringing this point out, like
Yeah,
self love.
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
And
so
by the
much.
way, I'm going to point out something else also, that when you love yourself and you don't judge yourself, you get more opportunities in your life. Things suddenly open up for you. You get more people come and they give you appreciation. You get compliments.
Yes.
But why it doesn't happen is because you don't love yourself enough. There is lack of self-worth, there is lack of self-respect, and it could be so hidden that you don't even know. And one of the things that happens is when you go on a stage in public or on a Zoom call or a Google Meet, you hide behind the camera. That will change. The 10 batches that I did, some people they never used to come on camera and they started coming on camera. And they came back, and some of them even shared that they got unexpected money from somewhere. They got promotions. There is no direct connection, but today we spoke about the indirect connection. When you heal your inner child, you are willing to receive more, because universe has no judgment. This universe is an abundant universe. There is no rule that you would get only this much. That abundance is available to you. There are no limitations except the limitations that you have imposed on yourself. All right, so I take your leave. Thank you very much. Hasta la vista. I see you on some other call, some other place. Maybe I get to see you in person someday. I wish you good, and I send loads of wishes and gratitude for attending this call and for taking the role that you took to change lives and make this world a happier place. So let's heal the world and begin with ourselves. Thank you. Bye bye.